Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. Quick heads up or warning before we begin. This story is definitely not one to listen to with kids around. Now let's get started. This post is from the subreddit True Off My Chest and it's by user Al Spoony. My partner left me, so I told everyone he doesn't have cancer. My partner told me when we first got together that he has cancer and if his operation doesn't go well, it could be terminal. He said his treatments have also made him infertile, so imagine our shock and joy when we found out I was expecting at the start of 2024. We now have a beautiful 5-month-old daughter who is perfectly healthy and thriving, and he is in remission. My pregnancy was difficult and lonely because of all of the intense treatments he went through while waiting for his operation. I did a lot on my own, knowing he desperately needed this to have the best chance possible of shrinking his tumor before having it removed so we can have a long, happy life together as a family. He is currently living with his mom while he is in recovery so that it takes the pressure off me caring for both him and our baby until he is well enough to move into our new home with us. He still comes to our house and we go to his mom's all the time, so our baby isn't missing him. On Wednesdays, he has his daddy-daughter days where it is just the two of them to make sure they are bonding well, and he has the practice until he is well enough to care for her at home full time and give me a little break too. Now, last week, we had an attempted break-in at the house. I asked him to come over and stay here while I'm waiting for the locks to be changed because I'm scared, but he wouldn't. I was talking to his mom too, who slipped up telling me he wasn't home. Long story short, this is Reddit. I'm sure you can see where this is going. We argued for over 24 hours before my suspicions became too much and I went to Facebook. It took me less than an hour to find the first two women. During my pregnancy, I was suspicious of a lot of things and put it all down to my hormones as he would continuously tell me that I am paranoid and hurting him when I ask. One thing my paranoia wouldn't let up about was his cancer and his treatments. I asked his mom about it, who told me he doesn't have cancer, but he is having treatments. He has an autoimmune disease which he receives transfusions for. Very serious, but nowhere near terminal and no operations required. She also informed me he was in rehab, not in a hospital. He was addicted to cocaine and was trying to recover for me and our baby. I never mentioned to him that I knew any of this. I assumed it was the embarrassment of wanting to get clean without me knowing so he could be a good partner and dad. I was so proud of him for getting that help that I never spoke about it. With his autoimmune disease, his mom explained how brutal it has been for him and that he did have chemo a few years back, so maybe that's why he's confused. Pregnancy brain is a real thing, or maybe I'm just too blindly in love because I accepted this and never questioned it again. After discovering the first two women, I sent my partner a message telling him to let his girlfriend know I'm asking after her and not to bother coming home anymore. I've had the locks changed from the break-in so he can't get in. He panicked and started begging me to answer the phone and let him come see me so he could explain everything. I started to see everything through clear eyes for the first time and realized how long he had been gaslighting me for and told him no. Realizing he couldn't get through to me and now aware I was trying to contact his girlfriend, he panicked and went to her instead. During that time, I found a photo she had shared of the two of them and shared it to my profile with the caption, "Can someone please ask this woman to contact me?" She instantly blocked me, but her sister got in touch with me instead. Apparently, the family have never trusted him and knew something was wrong. This affair is serious enough to have met the family. She says he has told her not to speak to me as I am a deranged stalker he slept with once years ago and have been hunting him down trying to convince people my baby is his. I sent her a photo of the birth certificate and us in the hospital together to show her sister before he can lie to her anymore. During this, I am also messaging another woman who is furious at what he has done and is helping me with all the information she is aware of. She tells me he broke her heart by cheating on her without even knowing he was cheating on me too. So far, I have the current timeline. Chemo in March, a 19-year-old. Rehab from April to July, a woman of an appropriate age this time, but also cheating on her. And August until now, his 20-year-old girlfriend. On top of all of that, I then find out the truth about the emergency cancer medication that he had to leave for in the middle of me being in labor. My 2 epidurals had failed. I was screaming in agony, begging the doctors to help me because I thought I was dying, while the emergency team rushed in to place extra monitors on our baby in distress. This was actually just a huge turn-on for him, so he needed to go sleep with a 20-year-old before making it back just in time to kiss me before I went into emergency surgery. I found about all of this last Sunday. It is now Saturday the following week, and I made a post on Facebook calling out my partner for his actions. I made the post with photographs, medical notes, and evidence, and asking people to leave me alone on Tuesday after 48 hours of no sleep, multiple calls to the crisis team, and a barrage of harassment from his friends and family who want to sue me for character defamation. If this was a regular affair, I'd lick my wounds and move on, but I have now learned I have been leaving my daughter alone with a drug addict who is claiming he doesn't know me or his daughter to others, but demanding custody rights at the same time. Tens of women have now come forward who have also dated him during our relationship with no idea of me or each other. This is obviously really upsetting, but what upsets me the most is that I begin to notice a very worrying pattern. He has told every single one of these women that he has cancer and he can't get them pregnant. I said my labor and delivery were difficult. I was induced due to an infection I had. My GP had told me I had an STI, and although I understood and took the treatment and was induced, my madly in love pregnancy brain never accepted it as an STI until I went back this week and checked my hospital discharge notes, and it was there in big bold letters. Sensitive, partner STI. He has been telling women that he has cancer and can't get them pregnant so they don't need protection, which led to an STI which almost killed me and his daughter in labor. On top of that, he wasn't even there to be with us because he was sleeping with a young girl who also believes he has cancer. I decided to let everyone know that he in fact does not have cancer by using a screenshot of his mom's messages. All the women he has slept with to make sure they take a pregnancy and STI test. All his friends who he has been guilting for years over his condition, and also social services and the police for sexual endangerment. Me and my daughter now have safeguarding in place for us from a local organization for women leaving abusive relationships, so I feel very safe to reveal the truth about him and make sure all of his partners are safe and informed, seeing as he couldn't uphold his legal obligation of declaring an STI. I guess his postpartum girlfriend will do it for him. I have also had contact from many of his old friends, band members, and ex-partners who have all gave me testimonies to use for the police and as backup for if his mother does in fact try to sue me. This man has been lying and manipulating women for over 9 years. So far, everyone is now aware of his lies, and I'm waiting for my in-person meeting with the police. Oh, also, my partner is a primary school teacher. Wow, OP, what a scumbag of a man. I don't know if he's a psycho or a sociopath, but regardless of which, he deserves to rot in jail. I mean, faking cancer, cheating with tons of women, giving you an STI that nearly killed you and your girl? That's unreal. Do not let him near you or your daughter, and make sure that everyone knows the kind of person that he is. Hopefully the authorities will do something about it. Unreal. This guy is unreal. And apart from everything that OP is already doing, is there anything that you guys would suggest OP should also do? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Melonsky Chan says, I have no words other than to ask that you let his work know that children in their care are in proximity to a known drug user. Oh, and to burn his belongings you may still have. Sounds like your head is screwed on tight and you're doing your best for you and your kid. Don't beat yourself up for leaving them in his care. You didn't know. You acted as any parent would with a partner. Your eyes are opened and you know better. Sounds like his mom is a total enabler. Ugh. Being says, read about antisocial personality disorder. This fits. There are some good books to help you recover, and I'm sorry you had to go through this. Don't let it close your heart forever. Now you know there are people like this out there, and you can protect yourself. You are not alone. And Poupou Lafou says, feel like we need a full name and a link to his Facebook, or at the very least to make sure he is up on Prick Advisor. And Dopey responds, he deleted his Facebook after I made a post on there. He is the most convincing person you have ever met, but for the first time, someone proved him wrong by posting medical evidence and he couldn't take it. I'm waiting on approval to join Prick Advisor UK and Are We Dating the Same Man Northeast to warn all the other women I couldn't find myself. Additional information from OP's comments. It's come to light this week that his ex-partners have been reporting him for years to no avail. His mom is on the school board and her best friend is his head teacher. I'm hoping with the added element of social services this time and an investigation into child endangerment for our daughter, they can't sweep it under the carpet any longer. We're in the UK. His complaints have been escalated to LADO in the past, which is basically our version of what controls the school judgment over any dangerous situations, but nothing happened. Sadly, I think the parents are aware and not receiving help from the school in the situation. One woman he dated during the summer and she realized who he was when she went to drop her child off at school in September. She's been updating me to let me know that he wasn't seen in school for multiple days after my health visitors and social worker began the reports on Monday, but he was back in half a day Friday. I've shown my social worker what I've shared online so far, and as no one has been named or can be identified on here, that's okay. Also, I've been extremely polite about the situation and only exposed myself on Facebook, so they're okay with me sharing, but for the sake of not giving him any more ammo or information to use in his defense, I need to be careful until the investigations are over. I wouldn't want to mess up my case and have him teaching for another 6 years like the last time he was reported. Well, the community agrees and is totally backing OP in everything she's trying to do to expose this scumbag. So now let's move on to the first of two updates to see what happened next. I've spoken to the police this morning. There is nothing they can do unless they find the drugs on his person in the school, so nothing is stopping him snorting a line before he starts work as long as he takes nothing else with him. They've implied the loophole is that they catch him behind the wheel, and if some reported him driving on drugs, they could catch him that way. I've also checked all my past messages and can't find anything in writing from him that can be used. They said they can confirm that multiple reports and investigations have begun before even my report, so they are unable to share much information with me, even though his case involves me. But they told me it is imperative I apply for Clare's Law and have helped me with the application. It can take up to 10 days for my in-person meeting to provide my documents, and then it can take several weeks for the information to be shared with me. Knowing what I do already, I feel sick that they have told me how important it is for me to make this application. I can't believe in a few weeks he's going to disgust me even further when I receive his police records. My only silver lining is that once I have the police reports on top of my medical reports, he doesn't stand a chance in family court and me and my girl will be free to restart our lives together. Heart. I've spent the last few months building up our rundown little council house I managed to get us to make it into our dream home, all while caring for our little girl and giving more love and support to him and his family than I ever gave myself. He made me into a mouse of a person and so dependent on him that I haven't felt strong at all. I think now I can see through clear eyes and realized how many women I've managed to help so far and the work I'm putting into protecting the children at his school. I do feel more proud of myself and hope one day my baby girl will be proud of me too. Also, another little note. I've been looking for family court advice in a mom's support group and have been informed that luckily she's only 5 months old and any name changes can be made before 6 months. Only one parent's consent is needed and the witnesses don't need to be his choice. So I will be removing his surname and his grand's name from her middle name for her to take my surname and not have any more ties to his family. Finally, I just wanted to put an apology in here as well, as a lot of people have commented on my poor writing. I am a new mom who was lacking sleep even before any of this came to light. Everything I've wrote has basically been just a big vent for me. I know I'm no novelist, but I still apologize if it's been difficult to read. Alright, OP has made some decisions and things are apparently starting to move forward. So let's not waste any more time and move on straight to the final update. I have managed to provide enough evidence of drug use and emotional blackmail to the police to have a domestic abuse case opened. This is going straight past the school to the highest authority to keep him away from children. This is huge news and gives me such a relief in knowing my child and others will be safe, but I still have that awful feeling of guilt for him. Just 2 weeks ago, we called each other bride and groom. I think it's going to take a while to grieve the person I thought I knew while dealing with the one I know now. I hope this is the point he actually goes to rehab instead of lying about it and can find happiness and restart his life. I don't think I want to make any more updates now. I am unbelievably grateful for the kind words and advice, but I originally just wrote this to get my emotions out of my head to help me sleep better. I know I used a clickbait title, but I did not expect my post to blow up like this. Thank you all for helping and making me feel validated in an absolutely insane situation. Me and my little girl are going to be okay. Heart. Well, OP, I think considering the situation, this is a great update. This scumbag will now be kept away from children, and I hope it stays that way. So here's wishing you and your daughter the best in the future. Thanks for sharing and take care. Now, let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user AlarmingSpread2883. Ask me for 4 eggs, I give you 4 eggs using the policy I explained to you 5 times while you were ordering. This is a doozy that happened to me at my old job, a server at a breakfast place, where I fully acknowledge that there's no need for an Am I the A-hole post because I am the a-hole, and I know it. So, I was having a particularly overwhelming shift, and about 3 hours into a 6-hour shift, 2 people came in that were particularly known for their being divorced and completely loathing one another quite openly to the servers and staff. They were overall very loud and rude to guests and staff alike. Every other weekend, they would come in to go over paperwork and divorce things, and the server who would get them always got sympathy from the rest of us. I had the pleasure of serving these lovely people a few times, and all of the times were so insanely different in terms of weirdness, but let's just get into this one. They come in, and it ends up being my turn in the rotation. Yikes, but I thought me and the guy were chill because the last time I served them, I told him I liked his dinosaur shirt, and his ex-wife made fun of him for it, and I told her I thought it was a cool shirt, and he and I high-fived, and it was the most invigorating experience of my life. I come up to them and ask what I can get started for their drinks, and I can tell it's going to be a tense experience already. They were both very snappy and rude, and I was doing my best to just stay friendly. Fast forward, and I'm asking for their orders eventually, and the guy orders 4 eggs. I explain to him we double our yolks. If you order 4 eggs, you will receive 8 total eggs. He tells me no, he wants 4 eggs. So I tell him, okay, so that is going to show up as 2 eggs in our system and on your receipt. He tells me no, he wants 4 eggs. At this point, I don't know what to tell him, but I try one more time. I tell him, yes, you will receive 4 eggs on your plate, but it will say 2 on the receipt. He says, no, I don't want to pay for 2, I want to pay for 4. I'm done at this point. I'm more confused than he is. I tell him, okay, and I write it down on my order sheet. I put in the order manually because we do not have a button for 4 eggs because we double our eggs. The head cook calls me over. He says, 4? I said, that's what the customer ordered. He says, okay. And he makes the most beautiful over easy sheet of 8 eggs with a side of bacon. It comes out and I serve it to him. He looks at me and says, this isn't what I ordered. I say, yes it is, big smiley face. And he says, fine, I'll take it. I got yelled at for it at the end of my shift, but it was so worth the look on his face when I served it to him, and the laughs it got from my coworkers who told me they wished it was them to serve it to him. One of my favorite memories from working at that place. Well, OP, you tried twice explaining it to him. He just didn't want to understand, but he did get his 4 eggs as he ordered. Thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.